And that's why men, when you see your wife attacked by your sister, even if your wife was in the wrong, you're supposed first of all to defend your wife. Then after that, talk to your wife, and then tell your sisters, never ever speak like that to my wife. When you disrespect her, you are disrespecting me. But most men keep quiet because they feel what you have said, that ya kwamba damu ni mzito kuliko marriage. But you see, at the end of the day, the person you are hurting most is your wife.
Let me start a show with a spirit of gratitude. For always watching and staying tuned, we really appreciate. If you are new on the show, this is the Naked and Not Ashamed show. We really appreciate your families. We appreciate you always supporting what we're doing. Kindly continue to subscribe and continue to follow up with the teachings we give here, because these informations might help you or help somebody you know. Be blessed and stay tuned. And also I introduce my panel, a beautiful, powerful panel, my wonderful husband here and my wonderful parents, the Tua family.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, thank you so much again. So today we are going to discuss the third party in marriages, because marriage was meant for two, so that these two become one. But we have left that aspect of bringing God to be our second part. We are introducing now the third part in marriages. Families, friends, in-laws, relatives, money, job, many things that come and then they destroy a marriage. So we're going to discuss them right now on this show to see how can we deal with them so that we remain just the two of us and which is one, and avoid those distractors. So on the show, we have the Tota couples and the Salanos. Welcome.
Wow.
Thank you. Today we are talking about third party. I love the discussion.
Wonderful.
And by the way, when you're talking about third party, I want to begin by saying that do you know even children are part of the third party?
Amazing.
I never thought of that.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Your sons and your daughters, madam, they are part of the third party.
Because children do not validate a marriage. With or without children,
you are complete.
The marriage is complete with a husband and a wife.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the purpose of marriage, though it is important to have children, but if you are using that one as the basis of success for your family, for your marriage, then you are doing the wrong thing. And I love what she has just said.
Yes.
And why am I saying that they are part of the third party?
Yes.
I know some people like saying, really? Yeah, because one time, you and I, we were children to our parents.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Many years now down the line, we no longer live with them. We are no longer stay with them.
Oh yes.
We moved even out of that home.
Imagine.
We moved out of that locality.
We go to visit.
We only go to visit them.
Not to stay.
As visitors. We go as visitors. So anybody destroying their relationship, their family, because of children, you are destroying them because of third party. Wow. And you should not do that.
Amen.
In fact, I love what I heard you saying the other day.
Yes.
That the children are what?
Children.
Yes.
Children actually ni wageni. They're actually visitors that have come in your life so that you can be able to nurture them, bring them up, and then later on they go and have their own life. So you don't I'm stahili kukosana. You're not supposed to have misunderstanding because of the children, because they are a product of the union. You get that? And so we must learn to separate ourselves and the children. We shouldn't join ourselves so much when it comes to communication, when it comes to some decisions that needs to be made. It must be purely the husband and the wife. But you find most of the parents, they want to make decisions with their sons or with their daughters, and they ignore the covenant. You ignore your husband, your wife, because you feel your children will understand you more than your husband or your wife. But it's important for you to know the covenant is between a husband and a wife. The covenant is not between husband and wife and children. But I know women, we have such a strong attachment with our children, and that's why women will say, over my dead body I cannot leave my children, but I can leave the father. But I think it's because of the attachment that comes through the 9 months of pregnancy, and plus now breastfeeding them, them, bringing them up, teaching them a few things here and there. So there's that attachment between the mother and the child so much. So we feel like they are part of us, and you would better offend your husband than offend your children. But it's important to understand that the word of God does not say so. So there should not be any conflict or any tension that should be brought in the family by the children. I need to handle my children to respect the father and vice versa, and they should know they have their own boundaries. We can only welcome them if we need to, but if we don't welcome them, then they need to respect also our space, just like we also respect them. That's the way it's supposed to be.
So maybe there is now that we're talking of the children, we're talking of the third parties in a space of marriage. In a situation where there is conflict, and there is a conflict between the both of us, should I run to either the children, maybe they're adults, should I call them, or should I run to my parents? Is it a good thing to take your issues outside, or what is your take on that?
Yes, Pastor.
Maybe before you answer that, just I close on children, then you come with that answer.
Yes.
Just also, someone said that children are visitors who overstayed their welcome. So one time naambia sasa tokeni muende. And also I've heard of people have said that I'm just in this marriage because of these children. Kama ungekuwa mimi singekuwa hapa.
Yes.
And also I've had marriages where they say before these children came, we were very happy. But since these children came, we are no longer together again. Ni huyu mtu na watoto wake tu. Every day mzee ametoka na amepeleka out. The man is out there with the children.
Or even the wife.
Or the wife has gone out with the children, always hanging out with the children. Mzee hata hakuna. So I think we should be able to know that before these children we were. Before them, and the marriage was just for the two of us.
Yes.
And also someone said that children are not part of the marriage. They are a product of the marriage.
Yes.
So you should know the difference.
I like that.
I also want to add on what you have said, that the reason why you will find a mother getting so attached to the children and vice versa, it is because nature does not allow vacuum. If you are not connected with your husband emotionally and physically and sexually, you will opt to get the children to come in and occupy that space because you feel like the man has disconnected or the wife has disconnected. And so when you find a couple so much into the children, it is a sign to tell you that their communication has a breakdown, their sexual life also has a breakdown, and most probably even their finances. They don't talk about finances. So it's like they are co-parenting, but they are together. They are just roommates because of the children. Why? Their relationship is actually toxic. They are not able to connect with one another. And as you have said, that was not meant to be so when marriage began. I think a couple should be able to develop an attitude whereby they can be able to resolve their own issues, and if they are not able, they should have mentors. They should have mentors, people who are not family members, people who even who don't know much about your family, so that none of them, becomes biased or sides with one person. Like I would not recommend that if you have a misunderstanding, you go and tell your mother, you go and tell your father, your sisters, unless these people, they are spiritually very sound, very sound. You can get a sister, a brother who is very, very sound. He looks like a mother. You can then seek advice from them, and someone who is going to guide you in the right path. Because you find most of the times the people that we go to seek advice from, they mislead us, they take advantage of the situation, and they tell you, me siwezi fanywa hivyo, me I can't take this, me I can't wait for this. But at the end of the day, if you waited a little bit, probably your partner would have changed, or if you sought professional counseling or even pastoral counseling. So I wouldn't encourage a couple that has misunderstanding to share it with their family members, their sisters, their brothers. Why? Peradventure, if we go on and we agree with Pastor Monene, they will still remain with that notion. These people are pretending. And maybe probably we have changed. Pastor Monene may have changed, I may have changed. But because we went and shared with them our innermost issues, which they thought that we don't have, at the end of the day, you find now it distorts their mindset towards each one of us. And so better to get someone who is neutral, someone who knows that marriage can have challenges, and when you are able to be helped by those people, you can be able to overcome. Yes, it's just like us. We never began with Pastor Monene like this, but and we never shared it with our parents, even when we were struggling in our first years of marriage, in communication, sex, issues of money, issues of how to handle the children. We never went to our parents. We looked for mentors who came in and they were able to give us advice and counsel. And when we applied that knowledge has really worked for us. And even as we were applying the knowledge, you find even God continues to add you more. So it is not wise.
Maybe, Mom, maybe just to add to what you're saying, what
Yes.
I've learned from you and
Yeah.
over the time is the fact that you guys have brought it out so clearly that marriage, there is no perfect marriage.
Yes.
From the
Oh, yeah.
onset, it has to take go through a process and a development, and that brings me to a situation where there are misunderstandings. I kind of feel like currently people are so much prepared for separation than the working reconciliation, the healing part of the marriage, and now they're taking the role as a partner who is in. People are just in for the good. So you see, we get to understand that most of the misunderstandings we get in homes, well, it stems from the perception of that person,
Oh, yes.
which is built by their childhood experiences.
Oh, yes.
This person, maybe this constant conflict or misunderstanding could be a childhood trauma that you need to address. So unless you sit down, two of you, and I run to my mother, I won't get the solution.
Very true.
I need to come to a point where I create a safe environment and I ask my partner, what happened to you? Why does this thing keep recurring? Some of them are physical abusers. You get a physical abuser who maybe it's not him. It is something that maybe you can help the person get out through. You can advise for counseling. Mama has spoken of counseling and things like therapy. You say maybe, darling, this is the time to go for therapy. This is the time to go and see Pastor Sue and Reverend yes. So these are the things that needs to be talked about openly, so that we don't just say if you see a challenge, you present a challenge and the only solution is quit.
Oh,
I
yes.
think where that thing comes from is from the onset of getting married. Nowadays, people get in marriage 50-50. You see, like, you should get in marriage when you are very sure that mimi nimeingia na nimeenda, there's no way I'm going back again. They said this the time Germans were going to war, and they will go and cross an ocean. When they cross the ocean, they burn the bridge, they destroy their anything that could make them go back. They say tunaenda, we either go and die or win this war. But now people are getting married saying that mimi naenda tu kujaribu. Mimi nikiona anything, I step out, and you will see those things. The moment that whenever I just see anything fishy with this man, I'll step out.
We call them
So,
red flags.
So people are ready for separation than ready for reconciliation.
Or
so
working it out.
when an issue comes, unasema mimi umenizoea, mimi sikufukuzwa kwetu. But there, and even I've seen nani wakiachana. So mimi nikiachana wewe haina shida, pia watu wanasemanga mtaachana tu. Maybe hiyo time imefika, kuachana imefika. So I can still go away.
That's why
I think we need to come in marriage when we are prepared that I'm getting here for better, for worse. Whatever comes out, I look for a solution. Shida ikitokaza, I find how to get a way out. So I think now coming to the next thing that I think also is a big issue in our marriages is also very close family members, whereby family members come and become a very big issue in our marriages. Like maybe we have my brother coming to stay with us, and when he comes in that home, he wants to have my attention than my wife's attention. Also, he want to have he just wants to show my wife that hii nyumba ni ya bro, na hizi vitu ni za brother yangu, so we pia ni mgeni tu hapa. And then us as men, we fail to understand that this woman has come in this home as a stranger. The only person she knows is me, nobody else. So whenever she's facing conflicts, I'm the one who should defend. Anamwambia by the way ni brother yangu, unajua kwanza down ni nzito kuliko maji. And there's no way God has said that you and my brother, me and my brother will become one, or me and my mother will become one, or me or my sister will become one. So it's only me and her who are one, and I should be ready to defend her. So I think we can discuss that issue whereby I find that we allow family member to come and invade our marriage, and even our marriage ends because my mother came in and took over, my brother came in and took over.
So mom maybe will anauliza, where is the place of parents in a marriage?
Wonderful.
How far can you go as a mother or as a father to that in that marriage?
I think in the African context, it's quite a bit challenging because you find that most of us, when our parents even grow old, we have to stay with them, with the children. And so it is important for people to understand that the covenant, as Salano has said, that the covenant is between your husband and your wife. It is not between you and your sister, your brother, your mother. And most of the times it's unfortunate that when people are married like us, if we have maybe an agenda or something, a development issue that we want to do, you find most of the couples will go and seek advice from their moms, seek advice from their cousins, seek advice from their friends. And at the end of the day, because these people are not on the ground to read the mood and see how things are, they are likely to mislead you. You leave the person whom you have a covenant with, someone who understands your strength, your financial strength, you are going to show that you have money. And so at the end of the day, you find the money that was supposed probably to build, to take children to school has been diverted because your mother does not live with you. And I think there's a problem with men. So much men are the ones who are affected in this area, where you find now our men are not able to detach themselves with the mother. And this is the excuse they say that this mother labored with us, this mother suffered with us, this mother, when our dad left, she's and it's true. It was all over. It's most of the families, mothers labor a lot. So it's not a time now. The men think when they marry is a time to pay back, all the generosity, all the sacrifices, all what the mother did.
And if you try to advise or just try to say no,
yes,
the wife becomes an obstacle.
Thank you.
And do you know where I came from with my mother?
Yes.
Nikitembea Kinyasa kama imeruka matake yanaonekana kwa baba. Do you know why you there? My mother was there.
Yes.
When we were going hungry, who was feeding me? It was my mother. Why you there? So she becomes an enemy. And unakuwa kunambia, I'm telling you, if you come between me and my mother, it's either one of you live and it's not you, my mother will live. So live.
Which actually is ill-informed.
It's very ill-informed.
It is ill-informed because if you just understand the place of marriage where two becomes one, these other people should be just third parties, and there should be
their distance
safe
should
distance.
Be,
not that we call them. It is us who allow them inside.
I think that's something that men need to understand and know, that if you don't protect your wife from your relatives, your sisters, your brothers, your mother, then they will never respect your wife, because your wife cannot defend herself against your people, and vice versa. So it is important for us to know that you have to stand strong as a man and tell them, this is my wife. She's not a domestic worker. Some of us are married and the mother wants you to cook, the mother wants you to get firewood, the mother wants you to go and fetch water. So you find you have married your wife, but it is like she's a house girl, a domestic worker to your mother, especially people who live in shags. And so it is important for us to know that our wife is not a domestic worker. Is not someone who is now under the authority of your mother and your father-in-law and your brothers and your sisters. And that can only come when a man stands strong. And that's why men, when you see your wife attacked by your sister, even if your wife was in the wrong, you're supposed first of all to defend your wife. Then after that, talk to your wife, and then tell your sisters, never ever speak like that to my wife. When you disrespect her, you are disrespecting me. But most men keep quiet because they feel what you have said, that ya kwamba damu ni mzito kuliko marriage. But you see, at the end of the day, the person you are hurting most is your wife. And when you hurt your wife, there is no harmony, there is no unity. So you begin to have challenges in your communication, in your sexual life, in your finances, but you are the one who you never foresaw this thing, you never saw that word or those words and those actions affecting those areas that are very key in your marriage. So I think it's something that every man must be very deliberate, and also women. Women have no problem defending their husband against their people when they attack them. Very few women are not able to do that, but men are a serious, what would I say, so many men, even educated, non-educated, even clergy, they have fallen a victim. Their mothers are the ones who control their marriages, where they are going to, what they're going to buy, where do they buy, what time do they do, even the school, even the building, if anything, even if you want to buy the wife clothes, it is the mother who dictates that. But that's not, the Bible says you shall leave your mother and father. Genesis 2 verse 24, leave your mother and father and be joined with your wife, and you shall become one flesh. So that's very, very, very powerful.
Someone wants to add something.
Yes.
Before he adds, that point of whereby, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother. Me, I always think that if it's possible, when you get married, move away from
your mother.
If it's possible, if you can move away from them, just hata kama si kwenda town, kando tu ndio asikwe bila unasema mboch, bidafu naenda maji ya kulisha ng'ombe 20, yeye ndio anaosha ng'ombe, anaosha mbwa, yeye anapikia all community, ati wana test on kama wife material. Why are they testing on the whole community? you find that even when they're trying you.
Yeah.
I think if you see this lady is fit to be a wife, when you marry her, move aside. Mwanze masheni wawili.
And I think an ideal woman for you as a man doesn't have to fit the taste of the rest of the family members.
Yes, it's me marrying.
I have to turn into a beast of burden. I'm doing everything around. Kwenda shambani kufanya nini, that one isn't supposed to happen. You've seen families separating because of just a lady cannot handle the pressure of serving the brother-in-laws, sisters-in-laws, taking care of the baby, going to graze the goats, and you don't have to prove.
You don't have a point.
I think when we talk about living, which you have said, I would want us maybe a little bit to look into that. What does living means? When the word of God says, a man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall be joined together to become one. So number one is the physical living.
Oh yes.
So huwezi kuwa unataka kuoa na unataka kuleta mke wako mahali mama yako yuko.
The same house.
The same compound. Or even the same house to make the matter. Now that one is even more worse. You
because
know,
when you're having tuatua, your mother is listening.
because how are you going out to have tuatua?
Yeah.
You know, how are you going out to have shouts of joy? You know, and all that.
Yes.
So that can become a challenge. So you should be able to at least wear the body. Toka kwa hiyo compound. Toka kwa hiyo nyumba.
Yes.
Ukiona unataka kuoa na bado hujatoka mahali ambao umelelewa. Where your mother, your father is.
It's a red flag.
It's a red flag.
It's a red
you are not ready. So physical living is very important.
Wow.
I also tend to think, and someone can also contribute in this, when it comes also to financially, you should also be able to live.
It's very true.
Financial living. Okay? Yes.
If you married to a man, probably he has struggles here and there. You're still building yourself together, and maybe your parents are rich. They are stable, they have the change, they have all the investments. I really don't feel if it is appropriate always to run to your parents for financial help. I think you should start from whatever you have, build it slowly, and try to fit into the situation you're having.
Wonderful.
This thing of my husband cannot buy a car, he hasn't bought a car yet, mommy, when can we have this? It is exposing your husband and your family, and there will be no respect for that.
Exactly. There will be no respect. Simply because your parents are well up, they are doing well, and so you're always depending on them to pay your bills.
Oh yes.
To pay the school fees, to pay the maternity fee.
That is serious.
You see? So financially also, you should be able to do what?
To live.
To live. You know? So I'm thinking of those two.
And also there is an aspect of informational, spiritual aspect of living. For example, if there is a indoctrinated knowledge in imekuanga the norm in your home that daddy does this to mom, and that is what is there. When you want a successful marriage, you don't have to carry some of the information, or probably you have a big brother who is doing certain things or running his marriage in a certain way. We had a friend who used to tell us, you know, my big brother beats his wife. No, it's something that I've seen daddy do, my big brother. So nikamuliza, are you also going to beat your wife? Because he had already beaten the wife. So are you beating your wife because they did it? You have to change the narrative, because the person who endured beating the other area might not endure in your own case.
Yes.
So I think leaving the information, that's still third party, whereby there is an information that is not serving you. It could be from parents, it could be from friends or social media. Kama hizi vitu wanasemanga tiyo sijui mwanamume sijui ni what.
I remember the story of a guy who was with us, and the wife was in her periods.
Yes.
When she's in a period, she goes through a lot of pain.
Yes.
So akamwambia that I need breakfast. Akamwambia I'm so pain. Unanisaidia kupika? Mimi nikusaidia kupika me. So it was a very big issue until they came to us, and I was like, nikamwambia, what was so hard for you to cook just because your wife is in pain? Akasema Salano, even me in our home,
I don't do that.
even if my mother anatembelea tumbo na uchungu aje, she must come and aoshe apige viatu ya baba rangi ambatafute socks amvalishe. Yes, so akasema I cannot do that, I will not be a man, so I can never go in the kitchen cook because she's in pain. I need to apike cha yangu. Nikamwambia, no, that's so wrong.
So emotionally,
we have imported that as a third party. Also another third party that comes not physically, especially if I say, it's like your wife comes, she's new here, ndio mmeanza kuoana, and then now you tell her, mimi sikulangi chakula hivyo. You want her to cook like your mother. So you are introducing another third party in your marriage in a silent mode. So you want this woman to be like your mother. Apike kama mama yako, aongee kama mama. Mama yangu afanyangi hivi. Nani afanyangi? My mother never puts milk in
or
food.
maybe your mama used to alikuwa anajifungulianga nyumbani. You say you don't want to take your wife to the clinic and all those things because it hasn't been happening in your place, you know.
And you know, we are talking about the parties and what happens. And these are things that are happening,
Exactly.
you know, day to day. They are here with us. Sometimes you find that a couple get married, but there is nothing that I will do without my mother validating the same.
Yes.
You see? So you find that before we undertake any project, it's my mother, my uncle,
Your brother,
my
your
cousin
sisters.
who will validate whether the project will go on or not. Now, that is not what being a man is.
And do you know how it happens? You sit down with your wife.
Yeah.
You decide hii pesa twende tununue plot plan fulani. You agree?
Yes.
This is what you are going to
location,
do.
yeah.
Location, you decide, say, you seal it, it's finished.
Yes.
And then you go and visit your mother, then you just come and umenyamaza tu. You plot unanunua lini? We'll talk about it. So we had discussed. We'll see. Your place yonekani mzuri. I thought we had seen that place was good. At your place iko na wachawi. Sitaki tuende huko. But no. Kumbe
You want her
she
to
just
go to
she met another committee wakamwambia that's not the place to go.
Yeah.
So you find that I am not man enough to make my own decision. I have to go and consult my mother. Mother kusema no, it's a no.
It's a no.
Even if the wife says yes.
Yes.
Or whereby you see some people also, they are summoned at home, and you find that you have been waited by a delegation of your sisters and brothers and your parents, and the subject is to talk about your wife. Now, that is so humiliating. You see, you've been summoned, and they are coming to talk things that you know very well. They are neither here or there. Or even you come and your wife is the subject of anawekwa pale, and they are saying that they don't want this, they don't want this, and you are there. Now, I want to say that is very, very wrong.
There was a conflict in a marriage.
Yeah.
So this guy, he doesn't talk to the wife. He's not ready to solve the issue. Then I'm better by the way tunaenda home weekend. Fine, nini, I'm going to greet my parents. You kuna get together nini.
Yeah.
Then they drive to the village. Bibi ajui kuna shida nini. Kufika huko. There are councils of elders. So we've called you here today because you people know what is happening. So everybody knows what is happening apart from her. Yeah, amekuja kama mfara amekuja kutembelea. Then apart so anaanza now.
Kuna committee.
So maybe Mama Nani, you can tell us what's happening. Like, Mimi, what's happening? Yeah, no, our brother
Your
has come to
husband has
us.
been complaining.
She has complaining, you are no longer a wife, this is what you do, you no longer have sex with her. So unaanza kushanga, even bedroom secret issues are now your mother is aware, your brother is aware, your cousins are aware, everyone's now aware about that. Now it's no longer, is it that even third party or 100 party in the marriage?
In such a situation, inakuanga, the guy is looking for an excuse for mischief.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When people are looking for excuses for mischief, they call committees that you don't know about it.
And then
most of it,
then during that time, he will not speak. Sasa tunataka huyu cousin anatoa maoni yake, huyu anaongea, the husband is just there. And then whatever will be decided in that committee is final.
And it mostly is against your wife.
Obviously, it cannot be. So umekwambia kuanzia leo hataki kusikia brother yetu akilalamika that you are no longer doing this. If you are not able to do this, then you tell us if you are tired. Number 2, you don't support our brother in this and this. If you are not able to support him as a wife, then tell us.
Oh, yes.
Number 3, we are told that you are always this, you go out.
so you are a community wife.
So you are like, why did you tell me these things?